So I just realized what it means to use the middle finger gesture and to record it before the whole wide world. I mean, first I recorded it, I hadn't published it yet, and I realized when I was going to publish it that it's a statement and it has to accompany something more, some kind of what do we call? It should be justified. So I'm calling it the right to bear the middle finger, same as the right to bear arms. In the United States, the right to bear arms is the Second Amendment. So we don't want weapons. We don't want arms. So the right to bear the middle finger, I say, is for a civilian, more or less like the right to bear arms, wherein that is the greatest form of offense a civilian can give to another civilian or to a government. So I realized the middle finger gesture was applicable on that day because of the violence I faced by public authorities, by a kind of a fascist police methodology, and ultimately went to the genocide that's happening. So I realized that whenever there's any infringement of constitutional rights, so I realized the middle finger gesture for me, when I applied, I only applied to these causes. Whenever there's any kind of violence, violence against all kinds of violence, including police brutality or violence against women, any kind of fascism that we are witnessing right now by governments, which is the infringement of constitutional rights, or apartheid, and genocide, where basically people do not have the legal means to respond, to act effectively, and that is the only form of offense left for them to give. But I would say it is a peaceful protest of the obscene gesture. What else can you do when this is happening, when your governments are not taking action, when there's unconstitutionality? This is the least, it is peaceful as a result for these events. But I do not foresee I'm saying, I do not foresee the right to bear the middle finger against every and all offense that I face. Like, usually, I think this is a pop culture phenomena I must have adopted by watching American television, where people give the middle finger driving their cars if they get honked at by someone from behind, or children growing up in America as kind of rebellion, they give the middle finger to their parents, or they disagree with their teachers or so on and so forth. There are all those particular instances you've seen in television. So I don't really particularly feel like I would have to bear the middle finger gesture for these offenses. I grew up in India, so I'm used to people honking. But I have in the past responded in the same way. I realized that's cultural misappropriation. I realized the powerfulness of using the middle finger, the right to bear the middle finger gesture, and therefore I only reserve it against, as I said, violence, against genocide, against fascism, against any form of violence, against any form of infringement of constitutional rights, in any form of, in any way a citizen is curtailed in taking legal steps, or in getting a constitutional remedy because of, and so there is. How else can you? So that's what I mean. You will not find me using it for any other gesture. So I'm just saying that eventually. So if I have to, so I said, as long as I have this phone, now that I've made a middle finger gesture and recorded it before the eyes of the world, and the eyes of my enemies watching, and I'm sure the Lord prepares a feast for me, and anoints my head with oil, no doubt. So I realized that that's a very momentous gesture, and that's it's gonna live on forever. So I have no more need to personally give the middle finger again. So it's always going to be peace, or the chin mudra. So it's always going to be peace as far as I'm concerned with my bare fists are concerned. However, if I have a phone in hand, and if I'm experiencing a condition or a situation where see, we believe that the government of the people, by the people, for the people should not perish from the earth, but we do believe that violence and fascism and genocide and whatever infringement of constitutional rights, these should perish from the earth and should never be repeated. But if they continue to recur, well, I have a phone with me, I'll point at this video and say, hey, remember me? I'm that guy on the that went before the world and produced a middle finger against violence, fascism, genocide, and infringement of constitutional rights. But if you find that I don't have a phone, then, and if these things are continuing, and they shouldn't, they should perish from the earth. Violence, fascism, genocide, infringement of constitutional rights should not perish from the earth. The government of the people, by the people, for the people. The government of the people, by the people, for the people should not perish from the earth. These other bad things have to. So there's that. And so if anyone finds me using the middle finger gesture, I encourage you to confront me in whatever ways that is justifiable. Have me arrested, whatever. But if I cannot give you an explanation that this gesture is against violence, it's against fascism, it's against infringement of constitutional rights, it's against genocide, then feel free to confront me in ways you see fit, and whatever. So that's what I wanted to say. I think it's gone a little over 15 minutes, and so.